Hello everyone. I'm Kuang Yi Ku. I'm from Taiwan and recently live in Netherlands. I'm a practicing dentist and also an artist. Recently I also studying in Design Academy Eindhoven. Today I want to share some of my experience and practice about why I'm here. So the story goes back to several years ago. I graduated from a dental school, so started my dentist career. And I was also in a science school for my Master of Science degree. So my research topic is about surface treatment of titanium and resin bonding for dental prosthesis. So basically it's kind of research like finding a super glue to connect metal and plastic for denture or other dental prosthesis. But to be honest, at that time, I feel super frustrated and confused. Why? Because sometimes I just feel there are so many issues or problems that I cannot find out by scientific research method. So at that time, I just quit my science school and went to art school for finding other possibility. So you can see it's like a crazy denture. So actually it's part of my work. So it's like a sculpture. So I use a kind of dental material to create stranger things. Yeah. So I started to use this material to test, to learn how to use material, the shape, the form to express what I feel, my feeling, like my anxiety or my fear. And the different color, different shape, it's totally different from what I learned in science school. So not just dental material, but also like animal or anatomical model also be part of my project. So after 2 years of visual art training, it's kind of interesting because I started to feel bored and frustrated again. So yeah, because in art world, sometimes there are also limitation or restriction that I cannot be very free. So it's quite weird. I really want to know why. So I'm thinking maybe because I really don't want to choose like art or science, one of them. Maybe I want to do both of them. So that's why I'm still confused. So yeah, and after that, I trying to combine two of them to bring this kind of weird things, the creativity, back to my previous background, like dentistry. So I went back to my science school. I want to continue my previous scientific research, but in a very different way. I got inspiration from human society. So you can, because actually you can see the three main functions of oral cavity. That's my professor told me in dental school, like chewing, aesthetic, and pronunciation. So basically, dentists like us, we help patients to restore their diseased body, so back to the normal function. So it's like what we do normally. But I really want to explore more, like bring creativity back to this kind of boring dentistry stuff. Yeah. So I got inspiration from Japanese pornography TV show. So let me explain a bit. So you can see the left guy, he's a gay man. He claims he has really good skill of blowjob. So, and the right guy, the naked guy, he's a straight guy, and he's also a porn star in Japan. So the scenario is the gay man claim he can give the straight guy orgasm. So for me, it's quite interesting. It means it works in the end. So for me, it's quite interesting because it means there's a kind of pure physical pleasure during oral sex. So like my head like ding, there's another function of oral cavity that is about sex. So yeah, and I never learned it from my dental textbook, and my professor won't teach me this kind of things. So I started to feel very interesting. I want to dig into this topic. So I started my thesis project. It's called the Modification project. So basically, it's kind of using dental technology to modify our mouth for enhancing sexual pleasure during oral sex behavior. And basically, this project focuses on gay community first. So it's quite interesting because I'm from gay community, and according to my research, like in every different sexual orientation, different gender, even different individual, they have their own sexual pleasure. Everyone is different. So it's really difficult to do a universal version. So I just take like gay community as because what I'm familiar with. So there are two parts of the project. The first part is about male masturbation cup mouth. So I got inspiration from a kind of sex toy for male masturbation. So you can see there is a very beautiful texture in the inner surface of the sex toy. So it can make a penis orgasm. So I want to apply this kind of texture to our oral cavity. So you can change the texture of our oral cavity for enhancing the sexual pleasure. But how to do it? So first step, I modify kind of retainer. So basically, mostly we use this retainer to help patients like they receive the orthodontic treatment. So where it can fix the teeth in the right position, but I put the texture on it, so it's kind of wearable sex toy. And I even want to go further, so I want to change the material from the plastic, the silicone, to real human tissue, because sex toy always want to persuade the texture very close to real human. So I went to a tissue culture lab to do the experiment. So I put a human cell on the material to create like a fictional scenario. So part of it is real, part of it is like fake. And in my imagination, I even think like maybe in the future people even want to use surgery to modify their body permanently. So they'll put a texture on their mouth, so their mouth become like permanent, suitable for oral sex. Yeah, it's weird. That's the first part of my project. The second part is Verbi clone, so a bit different because the first part is more about the texture, material. The second part is about the volume of the mouth, the length of the mouth. I want to extend our mouth, but why? So I got inspiration from this classic pornographic film. It's called Deep Throat. So most people love Deep Throat, but there is some problem like gagging reflex. So how to deal with this kind of physical problem? So I want to apply this kind of surgery. So like some patients, their jawbone overgrowth. So we can use the surgery to cut it off and put the jawbone back. So it's like a kind of plastic surgery. So I want to apply it to this scenario to put our mouth like very long to decrease the gagging reflex during deep throat. So also more coverage for penis. Apparently, it's very difficult to do a real surgery. So I started to do the model surgery first. I CT scanned my skull and build up a 3D model of my skull and to predict the result of the surgery. So even 3D printed it and speculate the result. So I also want to collaborate with the illustrator. So he helped me to visualize this kind of weird future gay community. So they want to modify their body. So in the future, this kind of gay subculture, they love oral sex. They want to modify their body permanently. So after all these things, I got my Master of Science degree. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it's super weird, but also interesting and amazing because sometimes for me, I think medicine is has a certain kind of power to define what kind of body is normal, what kind of health body is. So, but my project is super erotic, sexual, queer. So it's more like hacking the whole medical patriarchy. So it's quite interesting for me to get the degree by this project. And after the thesis, I got some government funding from Taiwan. So I developed it further, but some interesting happened. So this guy, he's a Taiwanese politician. So he went on a political TV show and blamed on my project because he said like government should not put funding on this kind of weird sexual stuff, and like other countries don't do this. Only Taiwan do it, so he tried to blame on the government from Taiwan. So at that time, I'm very curious about the people from other culture or other country, how do they think about my project. So last year, I'm very lucky got the opportunity to collaborate with Science Gallery London. So we hold a workshop. In UK, we teach people how to do my sex toy in a dental lab in King's College London. And after that, Science Gallery London also introduced two dental students to me, and they are female. So we collaborated to each other to extend my project to a wider range of gender and sexual orientation. So not just for fellatio, but also for cunnilingus and lingus. So more like also for female community. So after the workshop and the project, I got huge media attention. So it's quite diverse, like new scientists is from the science and technology community, and also like Days or Vice, super like pop culture stuff. Yeah, and people started to debate on this issue on social media. Like some people think my idea is too crazy, they disagree with me, and some people love it. So for me, it's quite interesting because I design a kind of environment so people can debate this kind of controversial issue or culture taboo. So I also got a very positive feedback from British Dental Health Foundation. And the CEO said this is a fantastic opportunity to bring younger people to this conversation around oral sex and mouth cancer in a very interactive and imaginative way. So for me, it's quite important because our project also brings some positive feedback back to dentistry, the science world itself. So yeah, so back to the three main functions of oral cavity. So now after my project, I like extend another function of sexual pleasure. But I'm really curious, like who defined this function of our body? So yeah, you can see this drawing from Da Vinci. It's like he visualized a certain kind of body with a perfect geometry in a circle, in a square. According to medical history, doctors or scientists always has the power to define a certain kind of perfect body, and healthy body, and normal body. Yeah, so we use this kind of knowledge to cure dizzy body from patients back to the normal function. It's what we do normally. So, but my project is more like extend the function by medical technology. So it's not traditional medicine anymore. So I also think after the project, maybe not this kind of research methodology maybe can apply to other body parts, not just for mouth, and maybe not for human, maybe not for other creatures. So, for example, my another project is about animal. So I want to do something for animal. So I designed a condom for our pets. Why? Because sometimes I ask myself, do we human really have the right to do the contraceptive surgery for our pets and in the name of love? And also, like some vets say it's good for them, but it's really difficult to claim like it's really healthy for them. So there is an ambiguous zone. So I want to explore more. So maybe like condom we use for human being, maybe can use it for our pets. And I also design kind of dating app for pets. Yeah, you have condom, you also need something to find a sexual partner. So the pet owner can use this kind of dating app to help their pets to find their sexual partner. So not just pets, I also design something for other animals. So last year I moved to Netherlands and I got inspiration from Dolfinarium. It's a huge ocean park in Netherlands. But in my design, I don't want to design another ocean park for human. I want to design for dolphin themselves. So according to my research, I found out many dolphins really enjoy their sexual life like human beings. So I want to, maybe I can create an ocean park to provide sexual service for them. So in the ocean park, you can see there are many sex toys on the wall. So the dolphin can swim in to play with it and have fun with the sex toy in the ocean park. So it's like a huge boat on the sea. So dolphin can swim in and out freely. So it's not like a traditional zoo or aquarium that put animal in the cage. It's more like a amusement park for animal themselves. So not just for animal, we also can visit them. We can see them have fun with the ocean park. So for me, it's more like a win-win system for both human and dolphin. Yeah, so after my practice, it's kind of weird. But sometimes, for me, more like I create a certain kind of personal research methodology by myself. And I also believe it can bring some interesting results, not like a traditional methodology. So I'm really looking forward to my future practice, and also think it's quite interesting to share this kind of weird thing to you today. So that's it. Thank you.